Caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The Caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the Caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the Caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop. Good morning and welcome. I am, of course, your host, Michael Calderese. Welcome to the Brick Breakdown this early morning. I have not even had my coffee in me yet, so let me start getting that in me because I've been sitting on this for a couple days, okay? And I'm going to start off by saying this. I've been trying to think about how I could put this as tactfully as possible. I got in touch with the town, so to speak, not so much, but I've been thinking about how I wanted to bring this to you, because no matter how I bring this to you, it's going to seem like I'm attacking somebody, whether it's the administration or the cops. You're going to see that in a second, or anybody else. It's going to feel like I'm attacking somebody. But I want to start off first off by saying I'm not attacking anybody in this town. What I'm going to be presenting to you is an incredible disparity, and really, from what I can view, disgusting, horrific work conditions. Now, to the town's credit, I think they're taking care of some of those things. I don't think anything's being addressed anywhere near satisfaction. And if you could tell, I'm trying to be well thought out in how I say this, because I was pissed off over the weekend. Let me just start here. First off, everybody that has gotten in touch with me, everybody that has emailed me, said thank you for doing what you're doing and all this stuff around the town. Thank you very much. Please keep sending them at Mike C at centercutmedia.com, or you could always message me on Messenger and all that. So over the weekend, I start hearing stories. And the story started off here. Hey, Mike, have you seen the rats, or have you heard about the rat and cockroach problem we have at DPW? And it's like, no, haven't heard about that. So, the story goes, rats, we had trucks that were apparently out for repair. They were there for, 7 months, a really long time. They get back and they have rats. And from what I understand, there's rats, and then there's rats, and there's cockroaches. And, at first I was like, well, you work at a garbage place. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have bugs. You're going to have stuff like that. But then it kind of got more and more interesting. Because then I heard a story about some of our workers and some of the DPW workers where they're on government assistance working for the government. Some people have been here for a very long time. They've been working for the town for a very long time. And they can't make their ends meet. They can't feed their families. They're in positions where they really don't make very much money at all, if you ask me, especially doing the job that they're doing. And we're going to get into that in a second. And I start hearing these stories about some of our workers maybe close to losing their house and all this stuff. So then, okay, I started getting even more pissed off. Then I hear we borrowed an ambulance. I want to get this correct for everybody. Then I hear that we borrowed a garbage truck from Lakewood. We borrowed an ambulance from Belmar because we had at the time too many ambulances, too many garbage trucks broken. Apparently, many of our trucks are overdue for getting fixed. And what was going on was the rats were eating the wires. So when we had this rat problem, which I was told that was handled pretty quickly, the rats were eating the wires out of the already older trucks that we have that we don't seem to be replacing. Now, let's just stop right there for a second. Because if you do look at what makes the town go around and what would piss people off very, very fast, it's sanitation. Sanitation, I think, is incredibly important. And what you're seeing in Philly right now with the workers that just went on strike, where they have trash just piled up, I have to ask everybody a very serious question. Who is more important in our town? Is it cops, or is it the ambulance workers, or is it the garbage collectors, or is it the mechanics, or is it they all are pretty much equal in how they make our jobs run or make our town run. The cops can't do their job, the ambulance workers can't do their job, and they're lifesavers without the mechanics. Without the mechanics, without the public workers that are keeping the roads the way they're supposed to be and keeping our fleet the way it's supposed to be, nobody can work. And I'm hearing right now that they're in a building that apparently, has no AC. Now it's old. And to Brick's credit, they're going to be spending $9 million on a new building. Great job. And to Brick's credit, they gave them the largest raise I think they've ever had, which was 6% across the board. Okay, great. That was a big step in the right direction. But there was years where they got nothing, or they all got fired, or they only got a 1% raise and they got nothing at all. There was years that went by where their pay did not grow, while other people in this town, their pay has grown, and not just grown, it has exploded. The amount of pay that some of our public workers are making compared to others that can't feed their family was really disgusting to me. We're going to get into that in a second, but let me get through all the other stuff. So we have trucks that are messed up. We're borrowing trucks. And now, from what I understand, this happens from town to town a lot. I'm not trying to impugn anybody. But let's just take what I know about my own roads. Underneath our roads, and I don't know if you have this going on in your neighborhood, but we have sinkholes all over the place in my neighborhood. I live in the Sky Manor section of Bricktown. I'm going to show you another video I shot in this series with the Public Works. This isn't just the only one I'm doing. This is to bring light of this. We have underneath our streets, we have our culverts and our catch basins and our storm runoff. The pipes are like this. One's up here, one's down here, one's up here, one's down here. How do I know that? It happened in front of my house. We had sinkholes in front of my house, big ones, and they only open up to a little tiny hole like this. Now, this is, mind you, I don't know, 7 years after they repaved our streets. Finally, the first time in my lifetime where the streets got repaved. Great. But then we had holes opening up. So what happened? I watched the guys, the workers, in trucks that one of the trucks killed somebody. That's the stuff that I'm hearing. But I watched these guys take this out, and I watched our stormwater runoff be like this. And then I watched them, and it's not their fault. This is the direction of what they're doing. But I watched them Band-Aid it, put some concrete cloth around it, and they kind of said, yeah, this is going to be good for right now. This is all we could do other than taking them all up. And then we just had JF Kiley come through here and cut trenches through our entire street, leaving bumps and humps and jumps everywhere they did it. They don't put anything back right, and you see this stuff going on all over the place. Now, what does that happen? What happens to that? Now our roads start going to crap, and what you guys do is you blame the workers for not being able to even have, fix a pothole. I see it online all the time. I see this garbage online all the time. Oh, what's going on? How come they can't plow our streets? How come they can't do this? How come they can't do that? Well, it's being told to me that we had a 30-man crew at one time, and it's down to 5. I've got some numbers from the town that I'm trying to parse together, which aren't jiving with what I was told. But who's right? I'm trying to figure that out. But from what I understand, there's a lot of turnover at the DPW. From what I understand, a crew that's going to fix the potholes in your street, there's 2 guys. Do we realize how big Brick is? We have 2 men to kind of go around and fix our streets. Otherwise, we have to subcontract it out for how much? So we have broken trucks. We're borrowing trucks. We don't have the right equipment. One of our trucks has been off, a pothole truck. Let me explain something to you. I'm in construction. If you're going to fix a pothole, you get loaded up with asphalt. If you're going to drive with that asphalt, it cools down. Then it gets really hard to work with. So when you're doing that in a dump truck, it's a very difficult job to do because of how hard it gets as fast if you don't have something heated. If we had a pothole truck, it could go out. But apparently the pothole truck, we sent the chassis to one place, we sent the top to another, and it's been a long time. Some say over a year, some say it's almost 2 years to where we don't have this truck back yet. Why? Why? These are things that I think we all have to figure out. Cockroaches, no AC. The AC apparently breaks in the break room a lot. These guys are going through 100-degree heat, fixing our vehicles, and a lot of the times they don't have a break room to go with. Now they have a union, so hopefully they're getting in touch with their union rep. But I want to just point some stuff out really quick that I think has to be adjusted. And right now, I am not going to, once again, I am not going to attack anybody, but I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna, because I started looking at this and I'm hearing stories once again of a 10-year worker can't pay his bills. Okay, can't pay his bills. And this is all public information, so this is the only way I know this. $57,000 a year as a operator of a machine. From what I understand, some of these machines, and one of them in particular, has killed somebody. You have somebody that is working under very, very dangerous conditions that has to be very highly skilled, making this type of money. And then I hear that we have 54 take-home vehicles. 54 take-home vehicles, 47 of them are police. The reasoning the town gave me was, in an emergency, they need to be able to go right from their home to wherever they're going. And from what I could see, was a lot of detectives having them, was obviously the chief. We have 47 take-home vehicles. What is the cost on that? I'm trying to set your priorities straight, because we have 10-year workers working in government on government assistance, yet we have 47 take-home vehicles for emergencies in this town. How many emergencies do we have to where our officers really have to leave their house and go right to the place? They can't go to the office first. And most of the time, these officers are making 2 or 3 times the amount that public worker is making. How did it get so lopsided? To me, when you got into a public work, cop, any of these, you weren't going to get rich. You weren't going to be loaded, but you had the pension, you had the health care. It was a public sector job, and you had the pride of serving your community. But in the last 20 years, from what I could tell, you had one skyrocket in what they get paid, and another one stayed down here. And I'm just wondering, at what point do we reach critical mass with our infrastructure, with our drainage, with our streets, snow plowing, which apparently we contract out, but we have a lot of equipment, but we don't have enough people to run it. When do we get stretched out to the point where the people that you're paying $200,000 a year to can't do their jobs? We have 54 take-home vehicles. We have 47 take-home vehicles. Apparently, what I've been told is when a car gets taken out of retirement, it can be used as a take-home vehicle instead of sold. Now, I hope we are selling them. I'm going to clarify a lot with the town when the mayor gets back off of vacation. But the thing that bothers me the most is it doesn't seem fair in what everybody is making. So our Department of Public Works years ago lost their step raises. This is way before, anybody that's running the town now, I'll give them that credit from what I understand. They lost their step raises. But just remember something. We have a police station. Let me show you this. This is their steps, guys. They start at the average salary in the academy at $43,000. This is by 2025. It's going to go up by 5% next year. By step 3, $77,000. They are making more money than senior mechanics are at the DPW, people that have been here 10, 15 years. By step 3, now, I'm not saying they shouldn't be making that money. Sometimes I will, because we're going to get into some of the salaries. And listen, guys, I love you. You're making too much money. When other people are starving and can't pay their bills, and they're also a government employee. Some of you are making way too much money, and I find it very interesting that we're ran by Democrats, and we have this unequal distribution of our tax dollars across our public employees. The average salary and the average pay of a public works in New Jersey is $54,000 in brick, $54,426, $54,426 is the average salary. How are you raising a kid in this town working for government? You're going to be on government assistance. Why don't we just pay him instead of letting him be on government assistance? The average police officer salary in Bricktown, New Jersey is $97,551. Now, from what I'm understanding with a lot of these numbers, they fluctuate. Because when you get to a certain point, when you get to this step 9, step 8, and you're making 100, and listen, look at this. This is a police officer. Step 9 is $155,000 a year. Sergeant's $186, lieutenant's $204, captain's $224. Now, that's not the only pay they can make. They have overtime. So when I looked at something, and this was from 2019, we had a lot of people make, I'm thinking it was like 25 people in 2019 making over $200,000 a year. Their salary was $160,000, $170,000, but because of all the extra pay they were able to get, they were getting $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. One guy I saw on the list had a $50,000 salary and had a $53,000 extra pay. The guy made $100 and something thousand with a $50,000 salary, but $50,000 in overtime. I'm sorry. You guys are not working that hard to where you have to outpace the people that are really, working hard as well. Let me rephrase that. Every one of you, I think, have a hard job. But are we really going to sit here and tell me that our mechanics shouldn't have the ability to make not anywhere near the money, but a third? That's all they make is a third of the money? Working in conditions where you're dealing with rats, working in conditions where you have equipment that's going to kill you, getting under the ground. We had a sidewall fall in on a guy. We've had a couple deaths. We've had trucks roll over in yards. It was 2 in 1 week or 2 in 2 weeks, something like that. But this is going into Ocean County landfill. But we've had trucks roll over. This job is not easy and it's not safe. And I'm hearing that it's all held together on bubblegum and Band-Aids and hope. Old trucks, broken down trucks, and no pay and ridiculous turnover. How do you keep somebody at $50,000 a year? I'm a mason contractor. I'd have to pay somebody $20 an hour to bring me bricks. We have loader operators that are making $25 an hour. You could get that on almost any landscaping site. $50,000 a year to me, I'm sorry, is ridiculous. The average brick homeowner is making $77,000. So when we really look at all of this stuff, and once again, I'm not trying to sound like an ass here to any of the cops. And for the record, I haven't been pulled over in 20 years. So if I start getting pulled over, I'm coming after you guys even harder. Because I'm saying, wow, you've done great. You guys are making $150,000, $160,000, $170,000 a year. You have an extra pay. You have take-home cars. You guys are doing great. At what point do you sit back and say, all right, listen, you've gotten enough raises. It's time to level some of these guys out. It's time to make it to where we have government employees that grew up in this town, live in this town, work in this town, that can actually afford this town. And to the town's credit, once again, they took a major step in the right direction with the new contract. They got a 6% raise for the next 3 years. I think that is great. I think it's way underdone. Way underdone. And then I hear this. I'm gonna end it pretty close with this. Stuff like this bothers me because the cops wanted this. This is what they call a Bearcat. It's an armored vehicle. You know, it's $550,000 to $700,000, depending on what kind of accessories you get. But we wanted a Bearcat. These are, when I bring these up, again, not attacking you cops. Does Brick, New Jersey need a Bearcat? And apparently they still want it. They haven't got it yet. If you notice, we had those really nice F-150s that were lifted and with the big tires on it that apparently we could have done in-house for way less money than what we contracted out for. But that's a different story altogether. This is just talking about wasting money. But should we even be contemplating something like this when we have workers that can't afford food? That have cockroaches running around their break rooms? I don't think so. I think this is insane. 47 take-home vehicles when we have people that cannot afford their house, working 2 jobs. Most of these guys are bartenders on the side, or they work a bouncing job, or they do something else. They're working 2 jobs on government assistance, working for the government. I was irate. But that's not the worst part. This is what pisses me off. I have a lot of friends in this town. I have a lot of friends that work for the DPW. None of them would talk to me. You know what the thing that I've noticed across the board in this town? None of you will talk to me. None of the politicians, not on the right, not on the left. The right says they will talk to me. They haven't yet. I will see if that comes out. I've been in talks with them. They are way more willing. I have a commitment by one of them, but we'll see what happens. I had the mayor come on once, and to her credit, when I send them an email, they get back to me. That they do. But when I want to have someone on the show to talk about land usage, no, that's not going to happen. When I wanted to go talk to some of the guys, like, yo, man, do you really have rats and cockroaches going on? I'm hearing this from a lot of different people. And it was the same exact story. It wasn't one person embellished this way or one person embellished that way. It was the same exact story over and over and over and over again. And I'm blessed that you guys brought it to me. But when I talk to my friends, you know what they say to me? Yeah, man, I'm not talking about that. You're not even going to get me to talk about that. I'll lose my job. You'll lose your job. One of the things that was brought up to me over and over and over again, I don't know where it's coming from, that I'm going to try to figure out. There's been a lot of names thrown around. I'm not going to do that here. But to me, all over this town, no matter who I talk to, being that I'm trying to bring out information to you, nobody feels safe talking to me, even about safe topics. Come talk to me about land usage. Just educate the town. No. I'm not doing that. I might lose my job if I say something wrong. The fear, the intimidation that apparently goes on. If this was a nationwide big corporation, this would be a story. Rats, cockroaches, fear, and intimidation in the workplace? And I have to hear things secondhand? I have to hear it from friends of a friend saying, hey, Mike, this is what's going on. And then when I talk to friends, like, yo, man, what's going on? Nah, I'm not even coming close to answering that. Not even in private. Not even in private. So once again, I'm not lobbing accusations here, but I'm just wondering, at what point do we really stop blaming the workers for our potholes and start blaming the people that took away some of the workers or took away some of the trucks or aren't buying the new trucks or thinking about buying Bearcats instead of ambulances? And listen, I go to all of them. I do see certain trucks being bought every year and garbage trucks being bought every year, but our fleet's getting old. From everything I'm being told. And we have a new building coming, but we're having a new building with a whole bunch of old trucks in it. And it's, like I said, very good start in the right direction. Now, I'm not blaming all these people, but the fear and intimidation needs to stop. Whatever's going on over there, it needs to stop. And once again, I get one other thing. I know nobody wants to talk about anything in this world because we've made it to where if you say something in a free speech society, then there's consequences for your speech no matter what. You can lose your job or whatever. That's the most insane thing in my life, especially when you work for the government. Because when you work for the government, you should be able to tell the people what's actually happening in their town without fear of retribution. This is about us. This isn't about people protecting their image, protecting their politicians, or protecting anything that's going on nefarious behind the scenes. But I mean, think about what I told you here today. And there's more. Honestly, if I was to give you everything, I'm kind of afraid that they're going to start going after certain people. Saying, who did he talk to? How did he know this? I've gotten pictures. I've gotten a lot of things sent to me that I could show you right now. But I don't want to do that. Because a lot of these guys, like I said, are in fear of losing their jobs. And to me, when you're in fear of losing a $57,000 job because your pension, where are you at? When you feel like you can't even speak up, where are you at when you're relying on someone like me to tell everybody what's actually going on because nobody else will? I heard another paper was gonna put this out, but it was told that it came from a disgruntled employee. And I'm just saying, we are losing, and it's one of the excuses that the town gave me was that we can't compare the cops to the DPW workers. We have to compare them going across the entire town. So Department of Public Works workers to Department of Public Works workers. Well, from my understanding, is we just lost a senior mechanic to Point Borough, and he's making somewhere in the $13,000 range more than what he made here. I find this unacceptable. I find it unacceptable. I find it unacceptable when we have many salaries in one department that are over $120,000, and we have zero salaries in another department, no matter how important they are, that are over 70 or 77. You have to be special for that. I hope everybody takes this and goes, what are we doing in our town? What are our tax dollars really going to? And I'm sorry this is more long-winded than I wanted to be. But we pay a lot of money in this town. And it really bothers me when I see certain groups getting everything and certain groups getting nothing. And the people that are getting nothing are really the most important, in my opinion, because they keep us, all of us being able to work. Every single one of us being able to work. Not just one group. I see all these jobs as dangerous. I see all these jobs as important. And I really wish our administration, even statewide, viewed it the exact same way. And now listen, to me, salaries have gone crazy. If we are going to sit down, we have to have a real talk about government salaries from everybody, from the people that are running the town, making over $250,000 a year, to some of the top echelon of the officers, to all the new officers. I don't think it's right that a lot of them are making twice the average salary that the regular average taxpayer is making, and the regular average taxpayer doesn't have the pension or health care to go with it, or the take-home car. We have to have a serious talk in this town about if you're going to talk about we're being ran by Democrats and that's how Brick wants to vote for local elections all of a sudden, why isn't it equal across all these government workers? Why is there so much class system when that party claims that they don't want class, that they want equality across the board? When is the equality going to come for some of these people that are struggling to make ends meet, that are fixing our roads and catching hell for it online because everyone wants to blame them instead of pointing a finger where it belongs? Who's running the town? This is how you voted for the last 10 years, isn't it? Now, they sent me a lot of different things. I will say, before this administration got here, apparently they cut all the jobs for the road crew. And then they started building them back, but now I hear they're coming back down. According to the numbers they gave me, that's not true. According to what I'm being told, that is true. So I'm parsing that out. And once again, I'm not putting blame on anybody, but you, the person out there, because we don't know anything. And the media, you guys don't tell us anything. So if you ask me, everybody needs to start asking questions about what's going on at the Department of Public Works. How can we help these guys? How can we actually get it to the point where they can live in this town and not have to worry about where food's coming from? And I get that. That's a concern of many of us. Many of us. But when I see groups of people making over 150 and I see groups of people making 50, and I think both of their jobs are incredibly important, I think that's when I have to speak up and say something. So I hope you guys appreciated this. Once again, I hope nobody took this as I was attacking you. But if you did take it as I was attacking you, then maybe you feel a little guilty for what I just talked about. Maybe. Because from what I understand, looking down on people in this town for certain jobs they do is absolutely ridiculous, and it's happening. I wish we could change it. I hope the mayor, I hope people will get on board with this. I hope you guys will share this. And I hope you realize that the next time you see a sinkhole in your street, maybe it's not the Department of Public Works messing up. Maybe it's they're so short-staffed. Maybe it's because they don't pay anything. Maybe they can't keep people besides the people that are already pot committed. Maybe that's what's going on. And just saying, maybe if they actually got step raises in the same manner in which the police do, which is $10,000, $10,000, $10,000, $12,000, they're getting every step. They're getting $12,000 to $15,000 raises, in some case $30,000 raises. And we have other people not making anything. Maybe if we start treating these guys a little better, and we take back a little bit and we start equalizing this stuff across the board where maybe we'll have better roads. Think about that. Share this. I really appreciate you guys being with me. I apologize that it went 30 minutes. I did not think I could ramble about this for 30 minutes. And hopefully, listen, if there are cockroaches, I heard the rats got taken. I've seen the pictures, everybody. I hope everything gets taken care of, and I hope you DPW workers get taken care of. I hope you get the money you deserve. I hope you get the air conditioning you deserve. And I really do hope that we can get this worked out and we can figure out how our tax dollars can be better used. Because a Bearcat, I'm telling you, this isn't a war zone. Sorry, it's not a war zone. Okay, we don't need that. We don't need it. Let's dial the bullshit down. Jacked up 150s, I don't even know if we need them. Let's dial it down. Let's make sure our workers are paid first before we get wants and accessories. We have needs and we have wants. What are the real needs? I think the real needs are to the people of this town and to the people that work in this town. I'm going to end it there. I appreciate it if you guys would share this. Please share this. I really appreciate it if this got out. If you know anybody that does work on this, and if you could contradict anything I'm saying, please do. Because this isn't me yelling at you guys about what's going on. This is about me trying to figure out what's actually happening. So if I'm wrong, message me. Put it in the chat. You can message me on Facebook. You can put it in the chat. You can always email me at mikec@centercutmedia.com. Because this is about us. This isn't about me trying to prove a point. But when I hear these stories, and I've got more coming, there's LLCs. This is a lot. I have a lot going on in this town. You wouldn't even believe it. This was what I thought was the most important. I hope everybody shares this. Share this link. I appreciate, once again, every single person that comes up to me and says, thank you for what you're doing. Right? I want to thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for making this town awesome, because I love it. I love this place. And the people that work there, that's the one thing that I heard was, I love this town. So people that love this town, share this. Let's get this out. Let's grow this page. Let's get some real power here. And again, cops, I love you. I'm just pointing it out. Don't blame me. Don't pull me over. Love you guys. Really appreciate it. And if you can, check me out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 o'clock. I am live It's called The Couch Drop, right on Center Cut Media. If you can follow me everywhere, Center Cut Media. You can find it on Rumble. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on YouTube. We're going to be soon on X and everywhere else where I guess you call live shows and podcasts are streamed. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time here. And hey, have yourself a great Tuesday. Later.